Our nonprofit Citizen Journalism Foundation partners with a law firm called Citizen AG. This firm represents whistleblowers who are retaliated against, provides them legal representation. Our latest whistleblower, David Nelsen, has been retaliated against by the IRS. They've placed him on indefinite administrative leave after sharing concerns about the IRS, talking about antiquated and fragmented systems. Some of you have said, well, it's good that the IRS has antiquated systems. Not so much, because there's a lot of people in Washington making a lot of money, grifting off those systems. David Nelsen now is on administrative leave. He described these challenges have handcuffed employees and made it very difficult for them to do their jobs. He voiced these things. Now, according to IRS Manual 11.1332, employees are free to communicate their concerns in matters of public concern without needing prior approval or consultation with the IRS. So it appears as though the IRS broke their own rules, which is why we have this law firm, Citizen AG, and the individual's name, Nicole Pearson. She's an attorney with Citizen AG. We just interviewed her. So here's Nicole providing an update on David Nelsen's situation, as well as vital information for any whistleblower. There's a lot of you who are on the fence, wanting to come forward. You're seeing the IRS guy getting retaliated against, and that might deter you, but let not your heart be troubled, to quote Sean Hannity, because we have attorneys on standby that are helping these people. Here's what Nicole had to say.
Just received a letter on March 14th, 2025, indicating that he would be placed on paid leave while the agency is investigating his conduct, which is interesting language, because what they need to be investigating are his claims and the basis for his claims, and not his conduct. So we will be monitoring that to see what the result is of this alleged investigation.
What specific steps has the legal team taken so far to support and defend David?
First and foremost, we've sent a letter of representation informing the IRS and the Treasury and the agencies that would be involved, that we do represent him and that we are watching him specifically, and very importantly is that, that we are attorneys, that we are aware and very well versed in the law, what his rights are, and that we will be supervising them, for lack of a better word, to ensure that they are enforcing and protecting those rights. And if they don't, that we are prepared to step in to do so on his behalf. What people should first realize is that this is a unique case because Mr. Nelsen was exercising his right under the IRS manual, section 11.1.3.3, subsection 2, which allows IRS employees to express their opinions and even speak to the media regarding issues of significant public concern. But in addition to that, where there are gross violations of law, waste, mismanagement of taxpayer funds, and abuse of authority, the Whistleblower Protection Act and the Whistleblower Protection Enhancement Acts are federal laws that protect federal employees when they report these types of violations by federal agencies. And so he has two tiers of protections in his lawsuit, again, which we have already put the appropriate federal agencies on notice of and will be enforcing. But to your specific question about what Mr. Nelsen has done and what we would encourage any existing or potential whistleblower is to take these steps, as you mentioned, that are in the manual that's provided on the website. First is always to document everything. Please, right now, if you believe that you are in a situation that needs to be reported, start saving documents, PDFing them, saving them on your desktop or on some sort of an external hard drive, or better yet, just printing them. Sometimes if you are working for a federal agency, it's very easy for them to monitor your emails and your correspondence and communication. So if you start sending a bunch of documents to your personal accounts, they might flag you. So what I personally recommend is that you start printing out materials, and then also that ensures that you don't lose them. Once you gather the relevant documents that you think are necessary to show the violations that you intend to blow the whistle on, you also want to document important dates and individuals who were involved in important events that, again, are leading to your belief that that violations need to be reported. Names, titles, email addresses, contact information, start gathering that information as well, and create a timeline. The more contemporaneous in time, which means the more close in time to the actual occurrence of the event, the more reliable your information or your evidence will be. So we encourage people who have concerns about what's going on in their federal agency to start tracking, again, individuals, titles, events, dates, and to create a sort of a timeline or a journal to help substantiate their claims moving forward. And then once you have all of that evidence in place, then you report it, and then you wait to see if there's retaliation. And I would say 9 times out of 10 there is retaliation, but there is a chance that if you whistleblow, there won't be retaliation, especially given the work that we are doing, and certainly that James and Citizen Journalism Foundation is doing. We're hoping that this will start to create hesitation in these federal agencies from retaliating against employees so that they can continue to do their work while also protecting public rights and defending significant public interests and matters of public concern. That's the first step that we recommend you doing.
So when you talk about the steps, like after gathering the information, who should they, when you say report, do they first report to their immediate manager, and then from there on, who else should they report their complaints or file their complaints with?
They can, but again, there's always that fear of immediate and direct retaliation. So the Inspector General, the Office of Special Counsel, or a member of Congress is who they should be reporting the violations to. Again, we want to get the information what's called up and out. If you go to a manager, there is a fear, such as what happened here with Mr. Nelsen, that manager, and they will keep the reporting internally, and that they will begin to retaliate against the individual. Of course, every agency has the right to investigate claims of misconduct, not the employees, but the actual basis of their claims. But as we've seen through COVID and time and again, is that what they will do is they'll start to make the work environment extremely toxic, place them on paid leave, place them on unpaid leave, and basically turn up the pressure, turn up the heat so that they abandon their claims. So we want to get the information up and out, again, to the Inspector General, a member of Congress, or Office of Special Counsel. What's important to note is that it's a tiered process. So the first thing you want to do is you want to gather the evidence of what you believe to be violations of law, abuse of power, gross mismanagement or waste of taxpayer funds, or potential issues of public safety and health. Again, including individuals' names, titles, contact information, dates, and a description of important events. And then you are going to, again, report that information up and out to the Inspector General's office, the Office of Special Counsel, or to a Congress member. And then the hope is that nothing happens, especially with this kind of reporting and this relationship, this alliance that CJF and CAG, Citizen AG, has formed. We're hoping to empower whistleblowers without fear of retaliation, and that our legal services will not be necessary. It's only if the whistleblower, such as Mr. Nelsen, is retaliated against, which is a substantial change in the conditions and terms of employment, that then the need for legal representation is triggered. So first, we hope that we give you this information and empower you and encourage you, whistleblowers, to report misconduct. And only if there is retaliation or a substantial change in the terms and conditions of your employment, that then we step in to let the agency know that we represent you and that we will be enforcing your rights to the extent they continue the retaliation. My closing thoughts is that we here at Citizen AG are extremely grateful for James and CJF. The reason why we formed this alliance is because we don't only want to expose what's going on in these federal agencies, and we don't only want to file lawsuits where we get, completely inundated with filings and legal tactics that the government does, and it basically buries the story. What we have done is this union of exposing and then holding these federal agencies accountable So what I would hope is that people watching this video knows that there are people such as myself, such as Mike, such as James, such as yourself, who are taking a stand and coming together to give you tools and resources and information so that you know your rights and the processes to be able, again, to enforce these incredibly important matters of significant public interest to ensure that our taxpayer rights and our rights as American citizens are being respected by the federal government. So I hope that people know that we are here again to expose and then to hold accountable these agencies, and that you have tools and a team or an army, I would say, at your disposal to help protect you, ensure that you can do so without fear of being retaliated against.
I know it's not an easy thing to do, speak the truth, stand up, blow the whistle, but we're here for you. There are a lot of you that are in touch with us. Reach out to us at Citizen Journalism Foundation. We have a signal line, 914-491-9395, or tips at o'keefemediagroup.com. There's a lot of stories to tell. We need more courage. Courage is contagious, and stay tuned.